Anche a me. Hi, everybody. So we are live. I'm very happy today to be joined by Federico Clapis. Welcome. How are you doing?
Fine, thanks.
So Federico Clapis is a contemporary Italian artist. He has developed his career in a very unique way, opening new itineraries, new horizons into the art world. He has been almost undercover for a lot of years, producing viral videos on social networks. And in September 2015, he decided to move away from entertainment and convert fully into the dissemination of his artistic work. He's recently come into the crypto art world with 2 drops on Super Rare. So thank you for being here with me.
You too.
Thanks a lot. It's super great to have you. So we're gonna dive into straight away, if that's okay with you, with the questions. So the first thing that I think is just very unique about you is, you're a maker, like actually a sculptor. You work with your hands, and it's a very important part of your creation process.
Mm-hmm.
What does the sense of touch enable you to do with your artwork and in your pieces?
Diciamo che il senso più importante per me è la percezione, è comprendere che cosa funziona, che cosa arriva alle persone. Vai Giuseppe.
I think actually that the most important sense to me is perception, namely the ability to understand what I'm going to convey to my audience.
Le mani sono usate, ma non sempre. In alcuni casi, quando le opere sono dei ready-made, quando sono di oggetti di recupero, gli assemblaggi mi diverte molto farli manualmente.
I don't always use my hands to produce my artwork, especially when it comes, except from when it comes to ready-made artworks made of recovery items, or when I get to have fun assembling my artworks.
Mentre per le opere organiche, per le opere che ritraggono, per le opere più figurative, scusami, lavoro tanto con il modeling digitale, ed è per questo che per me l'arrivo nella cryptoart è qualcosa di piuttosto naturale, è come quasi un percorso a ritroso.
With regard to my organic works, namely those artworks representing more figurative subjects, I also rely on digital modeling. This is why when I first came into contact with Cryptoart, it's almost felt like natural to me, and like a continuative path towards that destination.
Yeah.
Amazing. Thank you very much. And I guess my other question is, because we talked about like the feeling of touch, what other senses are fundamental part of your creation process, and how does your creation process evolve, and from start to end? I guess it changes every time, but maybe you can give a general idea of how it works.
This is the question. Questa è la domanda riguardo la materializzazione, le esperienze?
Sì, esatto.
All'inizio parlavo della mia arte e poi mi sono stufato e ho preferito osservare che cosa il pubblico, che cosa le persone che la fruivano provassero e vedessero in essa. E questo è diventato uno strumento terapeutico non solo monodirezionale, ma collettivo.
First of all, I would talk about my art a lot. But then I got bored to merely talk about it, and then I decided to step back and observe what my audience wanted to feel, what my audience felt, and it also had like a therapeutic. It was a therapeutic mean not only for me but also for my audience.
Yeah.
Amazing. And I know that for many years, I've said it in the introduction as well, you kept kind of your art hidden. Why, and also why the decision to then kind of like come out in the open?
Beh, diciamo che inizialmente io volevo fare arte più di 12 anni fa, non sapevo come venire fuori e quindi la paura mi ha guidato a creare delle strategie che non so se sono state indispensabili, ma sono sicuramente state una grande formazione nel digitale, perché per anni ho creato contenuti sul digitale, contenuti video, ho imparato a utilizzare i mezzi, ho imparato a utilizzare i social, ho imparato a utilizzare le tecnologie e questo mi ha formato. Quando poi questo è arrivato a maturazione è diventato l'unica mia attività e ho deciso quindi di rivelarlo al pubblico.
In the first time, namely 12 years ago, I wanted to make art, but I didn't quite know how to do that. And so I let my fear guide me to creating new strategies, and which also involved training, a lot of training in the digital field. For example, producing contents and learning how to use social networks and the newest technology. And when I felt that this training was completed, I decided to come out and present my art to the wider public.
Yeah. And I guess, you touched on technology, which is a very big theme in, a lot of your pieces. So, for example, in some of your series, you address the connection between man and technology with like connection, with the touch screen pieces. And in both of them, and present as well in a lot of your art, is the color white. It's like
Yeah.
as if you don't want to distract viewers with any form of other color. Why specifically white?
Diciamo che è mia attitudine togliere piuttosto che aggiungere. In tutti gli elementi descrittivi cerco di mantenere la sintesi proprio perché l'essenza arrivi al cuore. Quindi anche il colore stesso è stato un mio istinto, non troppo ragionato, che fosse più neutro possibile. Comunque sto realizzando tante versioni di questi soggetti in cemento, delle versioni più grezze, però diciamo il bianco è quello che più riesce ad arrivare in modo immediato.
Well, for my nature, I always tend to add rather than take away from my artwork. And when it comes to my descriptive elements in my pieces, I gave much priority to the synthesis, because I think that I consider it the best way to reach the heart, the very heart of my audience. And I chose white because it felt to me like the most neutral color, and it was more a choice made by instinct rather than by rationality. And when it also comes to my other versions of my artwork, for example, made of concrete or most raw materials, I still prefer the white, and for its neutrality in its vision.
Yeah.
Amazing. And I guess, one of your I think, one of your biggest pieces and successes was the Crypto Connection, which is the sculpture that is exposed actually here in London and commissioned by Edu, which sees the sculpture of a baby in its mother's womb with a digital device. What is the meaning of this piece? And also, was this your bridge into the crypto community?
Ok. Connection racconta il legame imprescindibile prenatale che c'è tra la madre e il bambino. Questo è il suo significato più profondo. In qualche modo raccontarlo con la sua evoluzione di Crypto Connection ha voluto anche portare a galla il legame che c'è tra il bambino e il digitale, tra il bambino e il futuro, quel futuro criptico in tanti settori, ma criptico solo forse alle vecchie generazioni.
My sculpture Connection wanted to talk about the natural bond between a mother and their child, and it was the deepest meaning that I wanted to convey with my artwork. But my very decision to talk about this topic with my sculpture was also to stress, to emphasize the bond between the kid and the technology, the future, the cryptic future that is so widespread in so many fields. But in my opinion, it will always remain so for the older generations. It's something that it's problem that it's typical for older generations to see it as a cryptic thing.
Yeah. True.
And was this the connection that you had with the crypto community, or were you inside crypto before?
Qual è la connessione?
Sì.
Beh, diciamo che questo ha aperto per me questa prima partnership, ha aperto per me il mondo cripto. Ho iniziato a frequentarlo, a capirlo, a interessarmi di blockchain, a interessarmi di tutta la cultura decentralizzata, e solo 2 anni e mezzo dopo sono arrivato alla criptoarte, perché in un momento secondo me maturo e giusto per potermici dedicare.
Yes, we can say that this was the first artwork that opened to me a road, paved my road to my first towards my first partnership. And yes, we can also say that it led my introduction in the crypto world, as we can say. And I immediately started to be involved in the decentralized topic of technologies, as well as blockchains, a series of topics that I understood and learned about for the next 2 years and a half. After then, I decided to really get myself into the world of crypto art.
Exactly, and you released your first ever tokenized piece, Baby Drone, on Super Rare, almost 10 days ago. Why did you choose specifically this piece, Baby Drone?
Baby Drone è l'opera per me oggi tra più rappresentative. Baby Drone è sul timbro dei miei certificati, Baby Drone è nella cera lacca, Baby Drone è quello che un po' più mi rappresenta, perché rappresenta il bambino del futuro. E quindi ho voluto aprirlo come atto quasi propiziatorio, aprire le danze del mio ingresso nella criptoarte con l'opera che secondo me era quella più giusta per inaugurare. Baby Drone nasce ora così, a sfondo nero, come tutti i prossimi soggetti miei iconici, e poi si evolveranno in delle animazioni che sto studiando più complesse per il mondo della criptoarte.
Yes, I chose Baby Drone because it meant to me a lot. I can also say that it is my most representative artwork up to date. It is always also represented in my official seal, as well as my sealing wax seals. And the very meaning to me is I read it as the kid of the future. The kid of the future. This is why I decided to start the show, as I may say. Because I felt that this was the most right artwork that I could represent for my introduction in the world of crypto art. I chose a black background for the figure, for the white figure, and I can say that this will be also a choice that I will be making for my next iconic artworks. In the next future, I am currently trying to arrange for some more animation, more complex animation for the audience of the crypto art.
Nice.
Ho notato adesso che ti ho risposto alla domanda di adesso prima.
Vabbè, doesn't matter, non importa. My next question, I guess, is more into coming into this community, and we briefly touched on it just before we started this live as well. What does how does it differ from the traditional art world, and what does the crypto art community mean to you now that you've started this journey into NFTs?
Mhm. Secondo me la community della criptoarte e la criptoarte in sé non significa abbattere gli intermediari, il che non vuol dire solo intermediari commerciali, ma anche intermediari concettuali. È come se non ci fosse quella paura, quell'ipocrisia che c'è nel mercato tradizionale dell'arte, nell'esplicitare tante cose, nell'esplicitare che oltre a essere una passione della divulgazione artistica, oltre che essere una cosa di anima, è anche qualcosa di commerciale e non c'è niente di male. Se vuoi tradurre.
I think that the crypto art community and the crypto art world as a whole may be interpreted as a manifesto to beat down and to remove any middleman between the artist and the audience. I'm not just talking about commercial business middlemen, but also conceptual middlemen, because I kind of feel that the traditional art market is so full of fear and hypocrisy, and I think there's nothing bad in thinking or explaining that art is not merely something that you do for your soul, for the sake of art in itself, but also for commercial purposes. I think there's nothing bad about it.
Ti faccio un esempio, Baby Drone che abbiamo visto prima è stato venduto a $22.000 come primo drop ed è una cosa che nel mondo della criptoarte ho potuto comunicare liberamente come una cosa positiva, mentre nel mondo dell'arte tradizionale tutto deve essere sempre velato, perché tutto si deve sempre vestire di un mistero che in realtà è fondato semplicemente sull'incomprensione della gente che fruisce l'arte, e quindi per mantenere per celare quell'incomprensione ci si deve vestire di mistero.
For example, let me give you an example about this. My first drop that we just talked about, Baby Drone, has been sold for $22,000. And it was my first drop, my first sale. And I was not ashamed at all to say, to inform my audience about this sale, because I kind of saw it in a positive way, and I didn't know why it should have been meant like a bad thing. On the other hand, in the traditional art market, everything must be sealed, must be hidden, and everything must be embellished with mystery. And a mystery that is not a mystery in itself, but it's just a way to cover the lack of understanding of the audience with regards to the artwork.
E poi c'è una cosa molto interessante, che è quello di perdere matericità ed andare direttamente all'essenza, che è una cosa molto spirituale, molto trascendentale, e che le nuove generazioni che nascono già con il digitale in mano percepiranno in modo automatico un nuovo tipo di fisicità non fisico, quindi in qualche modo un'essenza, un qualcosa che rimane più impresso dentro di te che esterno. E questa cosa qui è super interessante ed è super concettuale, secondo me.
Then I also can look at crypto art as a say of losing the material nature of the artwork in itself in order to go straight forward right to the essence of the artwork. I know this is kind of spiritual way to interpret the art, but I also think that the new generations, the latest generation, which were born already digitalized, we may say, kind of may feel an automatic feeling towards the artwork, towards this physicality that lacks physicality, as we can say, as something physical that isn't completely physical. And this is, I think, the most interesting aspect of this new boarding of the art.
Poi per carità io continuerò a produrre opere fisiche come ho fatto finora, ma sicuramente l'arrivo della criptoart e il mio ingresso nella criptoart switcha la mia mentalità a relativizzare un po' di più la produzione fisica, iniziare a ragionare su degli aspetti creativi che prima non avevo considerato, comporre un team nella mia società di animazione per poter fare funzionare un aspetto creativo che io prima reprimevo, perché l'animazione prima era solo un contenuto, era come lo era, poteva essere la videoarte, invece adesso diventa anche un'opera fruibile e collezionabile. Quindi un sacco di stimoli.
Then, of course, I will go on producing material and physical artworks. But I think that after my formal introduction to this world of Cryptoart, something will change. Of course, I will talk about the physicity of my artworks in a more relative terms, and I will start to prioritize the newest frontiers of my artwork. I will start introducing new elements. I'm going to compose a team within my company, within my animation company, to give a new highlight to the animation. Up to date, animation was to me only meant like something that would be more likely to a video art and more of a sensitive content. Now I can make an artwork of an animation. I can translate my animation into an artwork that can be collected and purchased by my audience.
Tanti stimoli, tanti nuovi stimoli.
So many. I have so many new feelings toward these new frontiers of artwork that I'm going to cross, and I'm so enthusiastic.
Yeah. Enthusiastic.
Yeah, that's very. It's interesting to hear this perspective from you, especially being new in the space, but coming from a very traditional background. It's really interesting. And you just released your latest piece, your latest drop on Super Rare yesterday. So wanted to explore this drop connection a little bit more, and specifically, again, you made a plan for your Cryptoart drop for 2021. If you want to talk a little bit about that.
Beh, ho un progetto specifico per quanto riguarda i drop. Prima usciranno tutte le mie sculture più iconiche riportate in digitale con una piccola animazione. Potrebbero essere 6 come 10, e successivamente usciranno opere un po' più complesse a livello di animazione, studiate specificatamente per la Cryptoart, a quale sto già lavorando adesso perché necessiterà tanto tempo. Vai pure.
I'm currently working on my future plans. In a first moment, as with regard to the drops, I am going to digitalize all of my most famous works and artworks, also including some animation contents and elements. Then I think I'm going to start producing more complex animations, merely for the sake of my new Cryptoart interest, my new Cryptoart introduction, and then I will continue to improve my digitalization work of my arts.
Sto sviluppando un mio atelier in realtà virtuale, all'interno del quale i collezionisti possono venire a vedere i miei sketch, i render delle sculture nuove, e vedere una selezione di drop che sono già stati pubblicati con il nome del collezionista al fianco, quindi un atelier privato visitabile da persone che hanno supportato fin dall'inizio il mio progetto.
Right now I'm working on my virtual workshop, my virtual atelier. It is a digital space where my collectors will be allowed to look at my sketches or look at the renders of my newest sculptures and artworks, and also selected drops of my artworks with the name of the collector who purchased the artworks shown on the side of the image. It will be a private atelier that will be accessible to all the clients and collectors who supported my project from the very first time, from the very beginning.
Yeah. Ci saranno varie mostre in vari mondi virtuali piuttosto conosciuti nell'arco del prossimo anno, E un'altra cosa, un altro dei punti del mio programma per questo 2021 è riuscire a creare un canale divulgativo per parlare alle persone normali nel modo più semplice possibile di che cos'è questa roba qua e come potergliela quindi trasmettere e fare cultura a riguardo, senza velleità di portarli a diventare attivi del mondo criptoarte, almeno agli inizi, però almeno iniziare a farlo entrare nella testa dell'immaginario collettivo.
I am planning to take part in a number of showcases and art shows in several virtual venues, and this is of my first achievement for the next year. Then I'm always, with regard to my 2021 agenda, I'm going to set up and establish a new dissemination channel. My perspective about this is that I want to talk about normal people, about the wider audience, about these topics that are kind of unknown to them. I want to raise traditional world awareness about these topics, but at the same time, I don't want to make them my newest acolytes. I want them to get involved in the topic. I want them to get interested and more aware of what Cryptoart really means.
Oltre che come elemento certificativo maggiore, anche proprio per divulgazione, stiamo sviluppando la possibilità di dare a tutti i miei collezionisti di arte fisica, anche passati, un token che si appoggia alla blockchain di Ethereum, per iniziare, oltre che a implementare e ad avvicinare ai certificati cartacei qualcosa di un po' più pratico e stabile, anche come atto divulgativo, e fargli capire che cos'è la blockchain e che cos'è questo tipo di certificazioni.
Moreover, I'm going to provide all my most affected, most loyal clients with a token, a blockchain certificate that will be set up on the Ethereum net. And this certificate will not only serve as a further authentication and certification of the artwork they already purchased, but also as a dissemination mean, a way for me to instruct and to teach these people, to teach the widest public about topics like the blockchains, the NFTs, and all these crypto art related issues.
Exactly.
Nice. Well, there's very much there's a lot of stuff to look forward to. So it will be great to see all your your endeavors in the crypto art community. For now, I thank you very much for being here today. Very nice to meet you, and very nice to speak to you. And I thank all of the people who were listening in, and also our sponsor for this month, which is Whale Street. Thanks again, Federico, and thank you, Giuseppe, as well.
You're welcome
for your work. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Ciao.
Ciao.